Let's move on. I just wanted to get your thoughts very briefly on this. Now, last year, the European Union External Action Service, which is their embryonic foreign office, if you want to think of it in that way, the diplomatic service of the European Union is how they describe it. They started a summer course called Quo Vadis Europa. And last year they talked about it being the birth of geopolitical Europe. So I just thought we would run through the topics for this year's Quo Vadis Europa, which is taking place in Santander between the 21st and 25th of August. It's a summer course, so let's have a look at the topics that they're teaching people about. First of all, the European Union and the face of war and peace in Ukraine. Well, of course, they'll be talking about that. Not too much about the peace bit, perhaps. But anyway, let's move on. The next thing is all about EU support for Ukraine. So far, so good. These are pretty much what you would expect. But then we get into stuff that we've been talking about for quite some time, but enlargement and neighborhood, David, the Eastern neighborhood in particular. So the Western Balkans getting on their way towards the European Union, because the European Union is expansionist and it's heading eastwards. And of course, Ukraine is absolutely on its target list of countries. Another one looking east, this time, of course, we've got to make sure we've got an enemy. So the EU vis-a-vis Russia and its alliance with China. Stick with China here because the EU is concerned about being in the face of China's emergency. And so on. Europe as a geopolitical actor in security and defense. And of course, this is about defense union, but also Africa, also about defense union, because David, if you remember a couple of years ago, Ursula von der Leyen saying that, Africa is not the place for NATO. Really, that's where European defense union is a key part of global infrastructure. And then we've got the construction of a political Europe in the face of the fragmentation of the global system. And I thought this was an interesting one because they're certainly recognizing that the global system is fragmenting. I think there's a lot of pressure on the European Union itself and quite a bit of danger that it might fragment. And they're clearly wanting to address that. But I just wanted to get briefly your thoughts, bearing in mind I'm hijacking you because you haven't seen that before, on the choice of topics for the future direction of Europe.
Well, if anyone's been watching the UK column for the last few years, that's exactly what we would have predicted. The first time we ever had music closing the UK column news, it was Lily Marlene. It was we were talking about the European southern neighbourhood and the military moves were being made by von der Leyen and a certain Mr. Tony Blair to protect Europe from Africans by essentially deploying military forces into North Africa. And we were talking about the Deutsche Afrika Korps 2.0, and we finished with Lily Marlene. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. And here we are. It's now, it's now being discussed at the highest levels. How interesting.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, look, that's about it for today, but we do have some final slides, David. Let's start off with this one.
Yes, first, over to Canada, we've got a pic of Trudeau talking to a little girl, and he's saying, "You're sad because the carbon tax is starving your family. Would you like medical assistance in dying?" This is unfortunately grimly funny because it's true. But more good news, The Guardian here reports that Nicola Sturgeon's writing a book. It's going to be deeply personal and revealing, even though she can't remember anything when asked. And it's to be published in 2025. There was 9 bids, and Macmillan won it. And Sturgeon told BBC Radio 4 she would almost certainly write an autobiography, even if it was just for therapy, just for myself. Well, that's unusual. Now, it's not got a title yet. No title's been published. However, Scottish political Twitter has come to the rescue, and they have got a title for Nicola. So the suggestion is the autobiography is going to be called Mein Campervan by Nicola Sturgeon.
Yes, brilliant. Well, I mean, what can we say to that? Thank you very much, David. Right, that is all we have time for today. We will be back in 10 minutes or so for some extra if you're a UK column member. I want to say thank you once again to everybody that has been supporting us over the days, weeks, and months. And we'll see you in a few minutes for extra. Otherwise, we'll see you on Wednesday. Don't forget the Katie Hopkins interview at 1 p.m. in the usual places, ukcolumn.org/live and community.ukcolumn.org/live tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see you at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. See you then. Bye-bye.